Welcome back everyone to Richard's Toy Room, and today we're starting on another plastic model kit. This is a 1/25th scale AMT put out by Round 2, and this is the 1966 Ford Fairlane. And it looks like, from what I've gathered from reading the instructions and looking through the parts, you can build this as two different models. There's a GT or a GTA. Now, I'm not 100% sure what the difference is. I think the difference between the GT and the GTA is the A, I believe, has an automatic transmission. I think that's the only difference, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Anyhow, this was Ford's mid-size car for the time period. This is the most recent release of this kit as of the making of this video. And they called us one of their retro deluxe series, where they have modern tooling. I'm not exactly sure what is involved in that. Maybe they've went back and fixed some of the tooling or something. They've got, you'll see, this is kind of cool. I don't think I've seen these before. 2-in-1 pad printed tires, and we'll see what those are in a second. Expanded decal sheet, and then the vintage style packaging. So why don't we take a look at that first? And as you can see, the sides here just show some of the options that you can put on this vehicle. See here. And this side just shows you a rear view of the car. And the same as that. So, here's your instruction sheet. This one, I'm not crazy about this instruction sheet, but it's not like it's horrible. But you'll see in a second what I mean. It's enormous. I don't particularly care for these giant sheets. About the only thing that they end up being good for is a drop cloth. But the pictures are pretty darn big. I mean, look at step 5 is this gigantic picture of this wheel. So let's flip over and start over here. And interesting on this kit, something that I've made mention of in some other videos, they give you the manual manual or the automatic transmission. But as you can see, it's a separate piece from the engine block. And I've told you before, I remember when there were some kits that had that, and it's not very common, but this one is one of those, and that's pretty neat. And then you just basically keep going on the engine there. And then it comes up here, you've got a whole bunch of pieces for your chassis and frame connection here. You're building the whole engine bay with the inner fenders and the firewall and all that stuff. You got your springs and the A-arms. You got your dual exhaust, a little bit of suspension steering parts there. Here's your rear axle and springs. And it moves over here. You've got filling in the engine compartment with the radiator part. And here where you're starting to put the interior together, they give you a floor console and the option of obviously either stick shift or the T-bar handle for the automatic trans. I'm kind of leaning towards the automatic trans on this, but I haven't decided yet. And then down here you got finishing up the interior, you got your door panels, and then it gives you the, obviously you have a clutch if you're doing the automatic trans. Back over to the reverse where we saw earlier, doing your wheels. I believe this is a paint guide here on this, and maybe there's a decal or something, I'm not sure. That'll be a little bit more obvious once you get into building it. Here we're actually putting the wheels together, putting the glass in. They give you the rear quarter glass for this on both sides, and then obviously the front and rear windshields. Then you're getting your one metal axle, and then the other ones go on to the spindles on the front. Doing your final assemblies here, you're doing a hood to give you these hood vents, these chrome hood vents, a couple of optional decals, your front bumper and stuff. Nice separate headlight lenses. It's always a nice touch, makes them look a little more realistic. And then finally, you're tidying up your rear end here with like the tail lights and some trim pieces in the bumper. And down here you have your paint guide, and it gives you, I haven't verified if this is accurate. I have no reason to believe it's not, but they give you exterior colors and interior colors on this, which is helpful. And then I could probably maybe look at this and kind of maybe narrow it down to a couple and then see what kind of paints I have, which is not necessarily what I'm going to end up doing, but I like to use paint I already have if I have it, instead of going out and buying more and more and more paint. I've got literally a giant cupboard full of paint. So it's nice to like not waste it and use it up. But anyway, then I go online and look at pictures and kind of get an idea of what ones I like the best. And, you know, also it depends on what I've also built. I usually don't like to do like the same color, you know, too close to another one. I don't know, just kind of gets a little boring that way. But anyway, so let's see, here's your metal axle, nothing really there to look at. And here's your clear parts. I'll leave them in the bag for now so they don't get damaged. You got your windows, your headlights, your front and rear glass. The sun visors are molded into the front windshield. And here's your taillight lenses. And we might as well grab the decals while we're here. Let's see, I haven't even looked at this. I don't even know what this looks like yet. So what do we got here? Oh, this is nice. You've got GT stripes, emblems. I'm not sure what these ones down here are for. Then you got a bunch of different license plate. Oh my, they give you a lot of little different license plate options you can use for this. And then some kind of, I saw in the instructions, this is something you put on the windshield. I guess it's for some, like a car show or something. And then looks like a couple of, what are those, air cleaner under the hood, caution fan, it looks like, if I can read that right. And I'm not sure what these two are. They may be for the instrument cluster. So that's what you got to deal with there. So let's grab the white parts. One did fall off the tree in the bag, and this is the, what do you call it? The transmission mount support. Or maybe the engine. Either or. So taking a look at the parts in this, they seem to have a lot of nice detail on them from what I can see. So this should be a nice looking kit when it gets done. Hopefully goes together good. As you can see, we do have a little bit of flash from some of this mold. It's probably an older one, obviously, but you know, they've cleaned it up pretty good. So let's see what else we got here. So we've got, this looks like almost pretty much all engine parts and transmission. Same thing over here. It's mostly what that all is. This is just your exhaust. Here you got, these are all interior parts. You got your dash, or no, that's the center console. Really nice detail on these door panels. If there's any sort of chroming or two-toning or anything, it should be pretty easy to bring that out. You've got your rear seat with the package tray. You've got your front seats. They've got some nice detail in those. Here's your hood. It's got Ford emblem already molded into the front edge of the hood. And you got some detail underneath the hood there. And the last white tree of parts, you've got your wheels, your fender wells, front and rear of the engine compartment, steering wheel, some under the engine, some under the hood parts here, like the washer bag. I'm not sure what that other thing is. Coolant bottle or something maybe. And here's your like suspension and springs. A little bit of flash on there, nothing out of the ordinary. Dash. I'm thinking those decals are not for the dash, so I'm not sure what they're for at this point. They may be like GT emblems or something. I'll have to take a closer look at them. They're pretty small. But you do have a lot of detail on that dash. You're probably not going to be able to see it on here, but it should look nice. And the last white parts we have, we got your chassis pan, carpet molded in, detail underneath here, nice, and some nice detail in the gas tank. You even can see some lines coming off of it there. See some emergency brake line and stuff here. Looks nice. And the body. So let's see, this is got Fairlane molded in and Ford across the trunk. Got a nice kind of Coke bottle shape to it. A lot of nice crisp detail in this. I don't see a little bit of flash, nothing out of the ordinary. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot to clean up on this, so that's nice. I don't see a lot of molding lines. I'm looking for them, and I'm really not seeing any. There was a little one right here where it comes off the C-pillar on each side. That's about the extent that I see, and that runs down to the taillights, but that's nothing. That's easy to clean up. So yeah, this will be a nice easy cleanup on this one. And here are the chrome parts. It's just this one chrome tree. Chrome looks really nice. Get your wheels here. They are open. I don't know if that shows on the video or not, but they are, the little triangles are cut through. Got your chrome air cleaner, your bezel for the back there. There's your shifters and your little hood vents. Your front, got a nice detailed grille in there. Tail lights. Yeah, that's some nice chrome on that. And finally, this kit, here's your tires, your 2-in-1, as they call them, tires. Now, they've got beautiful red lines on this side, and I'm probably going to use those, but it's so hard to make up my mind because on this side it's got gorgeous Firestone white letter wide oval tires. This is going to be a difficult decision. I really love the red lines, but I really love the white letter tires too. Wow, these are nice, and they got a really nice like kind of bias ply looking tread pattern on them, and they are hollow, so easy to put together. Not a lot of sanding to be done to the mold seam, so those will be real nice looking no matter which way you decide to put them on. So that's the whole kit. Next thing will be an update, so stay tuned for that. A little bit of an early update on this 66 Fairlane here. Just wanted to kind of show you where we're sitting. Now, I haven't even painted the body yet. I've just kind of narrowed down the color I want to paint the body at this point. So there's no sense in showing you that. I haven't even sanded the, molding part marks off of it yet. So it's not painted or even primed. But I do have basically everything else done up to that point, which is the interior and the chassis. So I can show you all that. And also make some remarks on things that I've noticed on the kit. Now I decided to go with the red line tires on these, which is kind of where I was leaning from the beginning anyway. And here's a view of the engine bay. Give you a view of the interior here, if you can see anything. I did make one mistake detailing the interior, but it's not very noticeable. I put an extra chrome on the door panel that wasn't supposed to be there. There's only supposed to be one bracket of chrome around the armrest, and then that second one I did, which may or may not be that noticeable, it was just supposed to be the color. And you notice I two-toned the interior. The seating surfaces are like an off-white, and the rest of it is like a sort of a beige. So that's where we sit at this point. But what I also wanted to mention was this kit has a lot of, I don't want to call it fit problems. It's more like lack of engineering problem. Many of the parts in this kit do not have mating pins or grooves or anything like that. Like I'm trying to think of one that was a good example. Well, like the seats, if I remember right. The seats, they didn't have an exact spot where they're supposed to fit together. Like, like no pins or like grooves, or, where it would just like, where it doesn't move once you put it together. I mean, you could have like put the seat parts half together, and then it could have been like this, it could have been like this, like this. So you kind of had to like figure out how exactly you wanted it to go. And a lot of the parts in this kit are like that, I've noticed. So it's kind of like, you're just like hoping that you got the parts in the right place and crossing your fingers. So that's just one thing I wanted to mention about this kit. I mean, it's not that it's impossible to build, it's just a little bit more frustrating because of the lack of those engineered fitment parts. So anyway, that's just where I wanted to leave this, and we may do another update if it's necessary. If not, what you'll be seeing next will be the final reveal. A little quickie update on this Mercury here. I'm going into the final assemblies on this, and I ran into a problem. These rear quarter windows here, they don't fit very well. They were really hard to get to even sit in place. And I mean, they look like they designed them like they should fit, but if you try to put them with the little lip that's molded into the edge of the top of the window, they go way over where the door panel line ends up. So you have to kind of push them back, and then to get them to fit straight in there, they kind of, it's kind of hard to see, but they kind of hang down over the lip of this, which interferes with the edge of this inside door panel part here of the interior. So what I ended up doing was I notched this part from the back part of the door panel, or from the, here's like where the door would open. So from there back where the window actually exists, I just shaved this down so it's flush, because this is kind of a lip hanging over here, and I shaved this down on both sides where it's flush, so then the window itself kind of fits into this little notch here. So I'm not sure if that's something I did wrong, but as far as I can tell, that was the best way to put the windows in. So I found that the easiest way to combat that problem. So anyway, so far so good. So next thing you should see is the final reveal. Okay, so here we are with the final report, and then we will roll right into the turntable final reveal. The only other issues I had with this, putting the body to the frame was pretty okay. It fit all right. Wasn't too many issues there. The bumpers, the front one, that one was all right for the most part. The rear one was a little finicky. There's no real mounting areas or pegs or anything like that, so you kind of got to watch it when you're putting that on to make sure you get it on straight. I think that was about it. I mean, I still had a little bit of issue with the interior lining up because of these rear quarter windows, but it looks all right. It's not perfect, but I mean, when you just stand back, look at it, like on the video here, it was okay. The decals, I did the best I could with those. These stripes on the side, this is, as far as I could tell where they went, looked like the bottom stripe was supposed to go up or line up with the bottom of the door panel there. So it looks a little funny to me, but I mean, that seemed to be the best place that it fit from wheel well to wheel well too. So yeah, the only other issue I had was with the hood, and it's not that bad. It's just, it bothers me because I'm a little finicky, but when I put it in, it was sitting down too far in the back near the cowl. So I just put 2 drops of, tester cement and let them dry. So it would just kind of raise it up just a hair. So it would be a little bit more even with the fender line. And also, you probably can't tell too much, but there's a little bit more of a gap in the back here. It's because it doesn't quite want to sit right if you push it all the way back like that. It sits up too far in the front. I don't know if it's this chrome strip that you put on the front of the hood, or if the grill is, or the whole front bumper and grill assembly thing is sitting a little funky, or a combination of the two. But so I just put it like that, and then it sits down flush. So you just got a little bit more of a gap. Hey, it probably looked like that from the factory. Have you ever seen some of the quality control back then of American cars? I mean, yeah, it's probably about close to what they actually ended up with on some of them. So we're done with that. Let's throw it up on the turntable and take a nice 360 look at it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. As others say on YouTube, hit the bell icon, then you'll be notified when I post a new video. So I hope you enjoyed that, and stay tuned for the next one. Coming soon.